This is the Date Night Dice podcast, a podcast mostly about board games.
Probably not.
Hello, and welcome to episode number 32 of the Date Night Dice podcast. I'm Ben.
I'm Em.
And with us for the 32nd time in a row.
That can't be right, is it? Surely there was
knows?
There's probably
Is
one.
it possible that I've been on more episodes of this show than you guys have?
Maybe. Ken Brooks, everybody.
How's it going?
Welcome back. How is it going?
Good to see you guys.
Somebody asked me that today. Somebody said, "Hey Ben, how's it going?" And I honestly said it's going really great, because the last 2 weeks, 2 weeks ago, I'd hurt my back, and so I couldn't work out. Nothing serious. I just needed to rest. And last week, I had a cold, and I was sick, and I couldn't really do anything. I couldn't think straight to work. I couldn't work out. I was just like standard tired sick. And so when somebody said, "Hey Ben, how's it going this week?" I said, "It's going fantastic, man."
Yeah.
It's like you appreciate what you missed.
When you can, breathe again.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you're like, wow, this is amazing.
When you can, just think straight even.
I was going to say, I thought you were leading up to, because I find myself doing this often, which is somebody said, "How's it going?" "Good, actually." And I'm like, they jog me out of some sort of fog that, you know what, actually, it's good. It's great.
Surprising.
It sounds like you were ready to be good to go.
So
I
That's
wanted
exciting.
to be good, because I
Yeah.
wasn't good. Now I'm feeling better. So let's pick up where we left off last time. If you remember, we were talking about the D&D session, Groundhog
that's right.
You guys finally did part 2, which had to be canceled several times due to your cold.
Due to my cold, but we did finally get together. And we threw around some ideas for doing a weekend brunch session, but with not knowing how long it would go, it's really hard to commit a morning to that,
Yeah.
to not know,
Yeah.
is this going to eat the whole day? But we did brunch anyway. We just did it Friday night. Ryan made mimosas, fried chicken, and waffles.
So
Oh
jealous
my
of that.
gosh.
And
Oh my gosh.
Eggs Benedict. He had the English muffin,
What?
the Canadian bacon, or the ham, and the poached egg
I don't
hollandaise
even know
sauce.
what-
What's
was-
in hollandaise?
It's like
like
vinegar, egg yolk,
Yolk and like flour, probably.
and I don't know. And then you
I don't
have to
know.
make sure it doesn't break. You want it to
Right.
form into sort of
Man.
a sauce. I
You
don't
need
know.
This?
what's that called? Emulsifier. I ask specifically because I have $1 million idea that I need somebody else to catapult to fame. I want an egg yolk substitute sauce that comes in a little jar, so that when I have toast or whatever, I just want a little yolk on the side to kind of smear the toast in.
Yeah, just to sort of slap it through.
Or if I've got some ramen and I just want the yolk in there somebody figure it out.
Richen it up a little bit. It's
I feel
like if
there
you had
probably is something like that.
maybe
There probably is.
or an equivalent sauce.
Yeah.
It's just fat and
Yeah, someone
I don't know what's
right
in there.
Just
Yeah.
render this and
Yeah. What's a egg yolk replacement?
what makes it so rich? So is it umami?
I don't know.
I
Is
was,
that what that
I was
flavor
gonna say
is?
it's one of those things that whenever I do some sort of ramen or stir fry, and I'm like,
It's
I don't know what
I'm-
that is, so I'm gonna skip over it. But it's one of those things, probably.
Yeah. You can taste that it's not in there also.
Yeah.
Right. The highlight, I think, of the brunch actually was, instead of syrup, he made a reduction that was honey and chilies, and
Ooh.
it was almost almost getting to a caramel.
This is
But it
out
wasn't
of
syrup.
control.
It was you poured it over everything, and it was kind of had the chili pepper flavor, but it wasn't hot.
I was going to say. Okay.
It was super
Not quite
good.
a hot honey, because I've got hot honey upstairs, and that's Mike's Hot Honey. Get that. Ooh.
Oh, really?
Never heard that.
Ooh. I think it's on Amazon, actually.
I need to look this up.
Honey with chili pepper in it. On fried chicken? Forget about it.
I just
Well,
want
Mike's.
the chicken
what's
and
Frank's?
waffles.
Yeah.
That sounds so
It was good. It was the fried chicken. It was like some sort of like buttermilk brined fried chicken.
I just remember you saying, I don't know,
Ben's face.
am I too sick to go for the one day? And he's like, well, Quinn said he's already brining, like the chicken's
already
already
brining the
prepared,
chicken.
so we can't. I'm like, oh my gosh, at this
What are you
point,
gonna
it's
do?
like a 2-day event.
You got no choice.
I had no choice.
Nobody else got sick. So, I mean,
Well,
Not
as
yet.
far as we know.
unless right now they're listening and they're like blowing their nose
That
and
jerk,
angry.
he got me
that
sick.
son of a. Okay.
Exactly. But we did finish our sort of our we have a 6-person group with a DM and we got 5 players, and his plan was to break us out into individual groups. What is happening with Ken?
Found a dead fly on my desk.
I was like, is it just look like a fly or is it a fly?
I thought it was just. I didn't know what it was.
Can't get it to focus. Sorry.
You have to do that hand behind. I
Yeah.
hate when people
Yeah,
do that.
that never
drives me
works.
insane.
Guys, check out how good I did on
Yeah,
my man.
yes, I hate that. And they like.
You do have to do
continue.
that, though.
I know you do,
Yeah.
but something about
It's like
something about someone being like, "This is the brush size I used," and then moving it. I just want to be like, just do it later
You know what?
and put
It's
it. I don't
fine.
know.
Send me a picture. You
Yeah.
don't have to do this right now.
Stop doing
Yeah.
the.
really, it's okay.
Okay, sorry.
That's funny.
Anyway, we finished our little individual sessions. We're trying to get ready for the big group coming back together. We're probably going to do that, I don't know, maybe in another month or so. So the other guys still have to do their individual sessions. I just
Oh,
have to
wow.
say, now that we wrapped up the end of the Groundhog's Day event or adventure, A plus. Like it was
A+,
so
huh?
good. I was,
Awesome.
last time we were talking, I was super excited about it and so into it. And this time we came around, we wrapped it up. It actually took a while we had to do quite a few more loops to sort of like catch everything at the right time in the loop to stop it correctly.
Cool.
But it was so well put together. Really a ton of fun.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. I won't ask you to spoil it on the off chance 30 years from now I get to experience something similar.
I will
I don't want it.
keep it all zip my... And
Yeah.
the ending didn't matter, right? It was that initial...
Right.
We didn't
Right.
know it was going to be sort of a time loop. And that initial... And you wake up and you're on the cart with dragon bait next to you where you came into town. And it looks like it's 11:30 in the morning. And it's like, wait a second. Like, I'm right back where I started. It was just like
That's
one of those,
cool.
like, whoa moments.
Cool.
So that was awesome. Ken, you managed to pull something off that I have not been brave enough to do.
Ever?
Ever. You went and got a haircut from a professional.
This took the more force of will and strength than I've ever... I don't think I've ever mustered such effort in my entire life. It's the first real haircut I've had in over 2 years. That's not a joke. Either I'm cutting it, or my wife is cutting it, or we're buzzing it out of desperation. So if you're paying close attention, that means I was cutting my hair pre-pandemic because I don't like going to the barber
I
that
understand,
much.
though.
Was it... Had you gone to one since you moved to Midland?
No.
No, because it's only
So
been
did you sort of like
a
leave a
year.
barber you knew and then never...
That's the problem.
Never had the guts to go again?
I had a woman cutting my hair who was a close friend. She cut my hair for like 6 years. You know, you just don't bounce. You can't just get back on the horse that fast.
Did you find
You
it
got to...
one you're going to go back to?
Yes, I will go back to him. He's a very
Okay.
talented young man. He's good. Going to get the son out there, get a real haircut. He also has not had a real haircut in his entire life.
I can
So-
see that.
It's an exciting new era in our household.
What happens when you go in there? Like, what do you tell the guy?
See, that's always the thing.
Ben needs to know for future.
Well, because I was texting the group chat that day, and I'm a pretty anxious person. So, like, phone calls I don't like for work, which I have
Yep.
to do all the time, and all this sort of stuff. This was the most nervous I've been in a very long time. because it's a blind date, and your blind date is cutting your hair. Then you have to pay the blind date, presumably tip the blind date, regardless of your satisfaction.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't play into it.
Right. You tip to be
It could be horrible.
nice,
And I'm still gonna
and
be
then
like,
never
it's
come back.
great. And I'm gonna be tipping like there's
Yeah, no, so I went with, can I get a fade? There was a question of how long, is my hair long enough? Because I buzzed it earlier in the summer.
Yeah.
Said, give me a fade from a 1. And he cautioned, which I appreciate. He said, you sure? That's pretty short for a blonde guy. I said, do it.
Whoa.
I said, do it.
Let's
And
see.
he did it. So the guy's a pro, right? He said, hey, I don't know if that's the best idea.
That is a
But then he-
good sign right there.
So that's what you're asking for is I don't know if you can't do a fade with
Yeah.
curly hair.
No,
You
that
need to
wouldn't.
bring
I
in a
don't. That wouldn't
picture.
look right. It would. I don't. You know, it would.
It would be weird.
It
Yeah.
wouldn't make any sense.
You just need to bring a picture in.
Although
like
nowadays,
this. I want it to look like this.
No,
is it just
we
me?
Don't. We don't want it to look like that.
It seems like a lot of young men have curly hair these days.
Yeah, I
that
don't
me?
know.
Really
it's
in.
like honestly, when we're little,
It is a thing.
Like you get to
It's a
pick.
thing.
no, but seriously, when we were little, maybe one kid in my
Yeah.
like that wasn't. Maybe
And
it's
when I-
just because
when I-
hair was always buzzed when we were little.
And when I say
kid
young,
haircut.
I mean like I mean like 19. So maybe not that young, but like they all have this super short on the sides and then
Yeah.
this mop on top, the Brillo pad.
Yeah, that was just placed
Mm-hmm.
on top.
So, I mean, if you like that look, you could probably get that pretty easy.
Yeah. Give me
I
the
don't know.
standard. That's what I say.
Don't. No, you don't.
I just want the
No, but you
I
gotta-
want the standard cut. That's all.
You
I'll
gotta be willing to talk to the guy because he said, I don't think you should do that. And I said, do it. And he said, sounds good. And then he was like, well, your hair's not really long enough. Because, like how I normally wear my hair, it's like quite long on top and then it's very short on the sides. And I'm caught in this weird limbo of growing out a buzz. It's like, your hair is not going to look good. I'm like, I know. I need you to just cut it.
I need
And
you to
do your
focus
best.
for a second.
Yeah. I just need you to do as best as you can.
This is the
and
middle
he
stage.
he looked over at the other guy and I eyed him. And he's going, hair's too short. Hair's too short. And it was like, well, here we go. We're going to make it work. So I don't know. Do it, Ben.
At least he warned you, though. He can say that.
He was a pro. But now I get to go back, and then it really starts to pay dividends because he knows the situation. This guy's a mess. Just keep maintaining the mess and let it grow out on top.
He's gonna try. Now he knows, right? So he's gonna bring you around to
Yeah.
his way.
Exactly.
Of thinking.
Around the horn.
Exactly.
But
He's the
gonna
tow
take-
truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's
Hold him.
save this guy's life.
You
I
need
got his
someone
card
like
right
that.
here. I got his card. I made sure I got it, so I
right.
can get this.
So
You got to
wait.
get the same person.
Did you randomly, how did you pick this guy?
I picked it because I don't know. I don't want to go to like a Sport Clips or a.
Yeah.
What I wanted more than anything is to be able to go back to the same person, even if they do bad, the first couple times.
Oof.
Because the app, I know. Trust me. This is. I don't know. Maybe I have
It's
commitment
easier that way.
issues. Listen, we're gonna get through this together. Okay, it's me and you.
Right. It's
And so-
it's teamwork.
And so this is like it's not a franchise, and I knew because I wanted to be able to like, hey, if this place shuts down, I got this dude's number. I'm gonna go wherever he
Yeah.
goes.
He will cut your hair in his house, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
exactly
I
what
see
happened
that.
with the last person. She left, and it was like, well, you have to come to my house and let me cut your hair in
I'm
my
s-
kitchen. I'm like, please, that's ideal.
Yeah, I
Right?
would.
She's
do
like,
that.
I don't even cut hair anymore, and you're like, I'm sorry, but you cut at least one person's hair
Listen.
still.
Yeah.
There's still
That's
one.
where you're
And you
wrong.
still have
You
one
do
customer.
still cut hair.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say, but you still do cut hair.
Do you want to make $40 in 15 minutes if you let me into your
Look,
kitchen?
Boy,
Man,
I
I
would
don't
start
cut
cutting
hair
hair.
anymore.
I don't even cut hair, but I'll start cutting hair if someone's like
Right.
40 bucks.
I'll pay you 40
10
bucks.
minutes.
Yep. Yeah. She was the best. I would
Yeah.
show up. She's like halfway through a sandwich. All right, let's do this thing.
Oh man,
Cut hair.
this is
She's like eating it with one hand and buzzing with the other.
Oh, that would have been perfect.
lettuce is
Nice.
dropping.
Talking about the game.
Brush
game.
the hair out of brush the lettuce out of your hair. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Em, you have some exciting news. Lay it on us. What have you been working on? Now that the kids are in
gosh.
school, you have all this free
What's
time
this?
to do whatever you
What's all
want.
this?
Free time.
What have
What's
you
all
been,
this?
What have you been piecing together?
I've been
For Date
putting
Night Dice.
together date
Oh,
night
that's right.
boxes.
Yes.
We talked about this before,
Yep.
yep. But then I actually had time because it was always on the back burner. Mm-hmm. So we started with Sushi Go. So we're gonna have a Sushi Go date night box, and we're selling it at a local coffee shop in town.
Ah, cool.
And then we have some other games already. We've been trying them out. We found some other cool ones. Actually, today another one was on my radar. I'll have to tell you. But
Ooh, hey, that's an excellent thing to throw out there. If you guys know of anything you would think would be a good date night game, inexpensive, that you could be like, oh, I'm gonna pick this up. I don't even play board games, but it's something you could do together.
yeah, or
hang out
something
and
you would
play.
like recommend to friends who maybe don't always play games, or they just kind of want a fun date night. You know, because we're starting off with Sushi Go, which is a very like anybody can play that. You definitely
Yep.
don't have to be like no games, or it's not. It's nice and easy and it's fun, and I like that you can play with more people if you want, so it doesn't have to just be date night. But we start with that, so I'll actually show the box like on Instagram, and once we have it up and all that stuff. But like we made a date guide, and we have icebreaker questions and a playlist and a snack recipe and a drink recipe. What do we have? We have an extra little mini game. And then the person who wins that game picks the movie for the next date night. So it like kind of continues on.
Man.
And then the winner gets a little trophy and an envelope. There's a little something special in there.
A secret
A
envelope?
little secret envelope.
Ah.
It's sealed.
How do I get one of these?
You don't.
Can I buy one?
Well, you have to win. Maybe you have to win a date night.
I'm gonna take you
game and
on
then-
a special date.
You open up the box I made.
Right.
I got something for you. I saw it at the coffee shop.
I picked it up. But then we have some other little things in there and stuff. But each box is going to be kind of related to that game.
Cool.
So, like, one we were looking at was Codenames Duet, because that game was really fun. And that one's a spy game, so it's going to have some
secret
really fun
agents.
secret agent things.
That's
so,
cool.
But yeah, we'll have that coming out.
Awesome.
When are we going to get these shipping? I want you guys to experience so much success with this that you were just ripping hair out of your head.
Look, here they are
Like,
right
how
here.
do I...
Yeah, they're like sitting back there.
Oh, okay. I
We'll
see
ship
'em.
you one.
Well, I finally
because, I mean-
started where we can do so we can sell them, like, and actually ship them if people wanted to. Of course, we have to like figure out pay for shipping junk, but I finally got everything together where I'm like, okay, I can actually talk about this, because before it was always kind of like a mystical
Yeah.
creature in the back of my mind.
I just feel like, I mean, subscriptions and monthly service subscriptions are like the business model right
Yeah.
now, right?
That
For
is like
everything.
a big thing, yeah, right?
It's food, it's clothes, it's whatever. So if you could get one of these puppies a month, ooh.
That would be fun.
That is what I'm hoping
That'd be
we can
cool.
eventually get there. I just need to kind of like catch up on.
Yeah.
But then also, I mean, I still need to think about this, but I want to do like a package that you can get if you already have the game. So if you're like, well, I already have whatever, I don't need to buy it again, but I still
Yeah.
kind of want the little date night package
Yeah.
of it. So we'll try to do
That's
that too.
cool. That's really
yeah,
cool.
That's awesome.
Because, I mean, we have plenty of games, but if someone came out with a little fun thing to add on to it, just to kind of up the night, I would be for that.
But imagine if it was some sort of like subscription thing once a month. At the end of the year, you have quite the collection of great 2-player games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's the hope. I just need to catch up.
Wow,
Just
that's
trying to get
awesome.
everything
We
done.
gotta take this off recording.
Yeah, hold
we
on.
need to
Let's shut it
discuss this
down.
Hold on.
legitimately.
We got to go talk about this.
Get out of Google Docs.
Yeah.
We need to.
That's awesome.
But we have one box down. So I'll let all the information out and all that stuff once we have it like at the coffee shop and then online to buy.
Well, that's got me jazzed up. And you know what else got me jazzed up? Ken wrote it down here.
Yeah.
Dice Throne Marvel?
What a combo.
Ugh.
What
What?
a combo.
Take my money.
This is the first time in a long time that I've honestly been like, just take my money. I don't care
Yeah.
what the price is or what
Yep.
you even get. I'm just going to pay it and get the thing. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, of course I'm going to enjoy
Yeah.
it.
Right?
I like Dice Throne. I like Marvel.
I don't do Kickstarters. I will buy this.
But
Absolutely.
I think
I don't care how long it takes. I'll just wait.
It's like
'Cause it's-
October 25th, I think.
Yeah,
Right?
end of this month, I think, is the Kickstarter. So we're kind of
Yeah.
jumping the gun here on the news about it. But, man, I am pumped about
I'm
this.
pretty excited.
Dang.
Yeah.
I'm assuming prices are going to be a little bit higher because
Like
prices on
Marvel
everything are
and-
higher right now.
Yeah.
And shipping on everything is insane.
Yep.
But, oh well.
I mean, I've put off buying Dice Throne. I'm not totally sure why. Maybe because I don't know. Marvel is like it's the stepping stone to a broader crowd, sort of. I think maybe. I don't know. Looks cool. I mean, looks cool. They haven't shown anything.
That's true.
Don't need to.
But if you
Don't
did,
need to.
if
They
you
don't
didn't
need
want to
to.
wait,
A black box. I
they
don't
do
care.
have the 2-packs of Dice Throne. If you just
That's
wanted to
true.
get like one of those and try it out and be like, do we really enjoy it?
Yeah, they're like $20.
I think they're like $20.
Okay.
Some of them are a little bit cheaper. Depends on some I think are 15 and some are 20. I could be wrong.
Okay.
But if you were like, well, let's test this out before I spend, I don't know, $100 on or whatever. I don't know what it's gonna be.
I don't know. This is one I think you just get, and it'll wind up on the table.
It'll grow on
eventually.
you either way.
Yeah, somebody will learn to like it.
It is such an easy game, though. It's like Yahtzee. It's like an upped
Yep.
Yahtzee. So, I mean,
Yep.
can't go wrong with that. That's a
Yeah.
great game. But that's
Cool.
exciting.
Here's the other thing I want to know. This is completely unrelated. I'm changing the topic here, but
Okay.
it's slightly related because Ken brought up the Dice Throne Marvel. You also, I've seen a lot of little pictures, videos, Instagram stories of your new cat,
Yes.
and he looks like the most well-mannered, like
Oh my gosh.
Ben's just
Yes.
mad because we have potato.
Sorry.
And
I cut
she's
you
so
off.
not mannered.
No, I want you to pick that. I want you to pick that up and take it. What is up with this? His name is Max, right?
Yeah,
It's
Max.
Mad Max. If you ask me, it's Mad Max. If you ask my wife, it's Maxwell. We
Okay.
named him before we realized that immediately Jason. Well, we forgot that our neighbor was named Max. Super great dude.
So we have
and
to
so-
tell him and be like, well, we actually named the cat.
Nice.
No.
Whatever. I forgot that we got him like 2 weeks ago because I was going through the podcast notes, like, what have we been up to? I wrote haircut and I wrote Dice Throne Marvel. And then 15 minutes ago, I wrote, oh, wait, we got a cat.
I
And
actually
he's
also thought
so-
of that, too, and I forgot.
Cool. He's like just absolutely immediately at home.
That's awesome.
Not in like an alpha way. Like he'll punch the dog every once in a while, but the dog usually deserves it, right? And our existing cat is not a big fan, but she's coming around. But he's just like he'll just spread out anywhere. Just and he does like the starfish when he gets hot on the ground. And I mean, I don't have anything but praise. We rescued him from what is it? It's some So PetSmart used to like sell cats. They don't sell cats anymore. Now they basically function as overflow for what is it called?
Like the Humane Society and
Humane Society
or
and-
whatever
or
organization. Yeah.
Whoever, whatever organization moves him around. I think it's like Furry Wings around here or something like
Yeah.
that. And so he was part of a litter of like 7 kittens. Although, I mean, he was 5 months when we got him, so we never really had him at the kitten stage,
Yeah.
which is kind of nice, to be honest, because you can like step on him at that age and totally not notice. But no, he's been great. I haven't had him long, not more than a month. He's a cool dude.
No, he
Nice.
seems fun. You guys always have like on Instagram, Megan will have him like he fell asleep in a kid's, sock drawer and they're just playing next to him or something.
Yeah, I want
Big-
to like meet the little guy.
He's a big big box cat. Like if I fits, I sit.
Love a box
right?
cat.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. He will chase. He'll almost fetch. He will almost fetch
Ooh.
little Nerf balls, those little yellow ones.
Oh my gosh, those are the best for
and then
cats.
he brings
Yes.
them up. I thought he was going to swallow one every single day for at least a week, but he doesn't even chew them up.
No,
which is cool.
our cats love those too. The little yellow Nerf balls are the best because they're so bouncy, but they're soft, so
Yep.
they can grab them, and they
Yeah.
bounce around the house, and they kind of whack them around.
Ultimate cat toy.
That is when at 3 a.m.
Yep.
someone's driving me nuts. I go
Yes.
in the living room and I take one and I throw it down the basement stairs, and they're like, and they both chase after it, and I'm like, okay, good night, and that's
Yep.
the end of it. So
Shout
Yeah.
out to Professor Meg for the I fits, I sits.
Oh, that's right. I saw that.
oh my gosh,
For a brief second, I entertained the idea of sitting in something, and I was like, we don't have a box big enough in this house. Would have to be a
well, that's what we also
truck
ran
bed.
into.
Do I have a truck
Right.
bed somewhere
I was
can
like-
borrow?
I don't think I have a game wide enough for me to actually sit in.
That's what we were like.
Two
No, we can
boxes,
do this, and then it
One
was
for each cheek.
it was a lot harder
Right,
than I
exactly.
thought.
Just need a low profile.
Yeah.
Well, that was a tricky thing. Then we did it on a table, and I was like, I can't. Like, how do I not crush the side while trying to? But we got it.
Well, speaking of some board games, do you guys want to talk about board games?
Yes.
All right. It's been 3 weeks since our last recording, and I feel
Has
like
it?
3 weeks would normally have an avalanche
Feels
of games.
longer.
But we, like my back, I was sick. I'm a big baby,
My
Yeah,
back,
like
my
what?
neck, my
and so
Yeah.
we haven't played as much. But we do have a couple of things to talk about. Now, first
I feel like we have a lot
on
on
the
this
list,
list.
I want to talk about Vladimir Suchy, designer. We played
Okay.
Underwater Cities. And this is a
That's right.
follow-up to last time we talked about playing Praga Kaput Regni, the newest Vladimir Suchy game about building up Prague. So we went
It's like
back.
Renaissance Where's Waldo.
Playing that game made me want to play Underwater Cities. I was like, you know what? There's a lot going on in this game. I want to go back. Underwater Cities is like having to make the tough decision about every turn. You have each round. You have 3 workers essentially. They're like elevator doors. Who cares what they look like?
God.
But there is a yellow area of the board, red actions, and there are green actions, and then you have cards that are red, yellow, and green. Every time you take an action, you have to also play a card. If the color matches if the card color matches where you put your worker, then you get to also do the card.
Yeah, you get
That
benefit.
is the crux of this game. Trying to get, because you get, at the end of every turn you draw a card, play a card, draw a
and
card,
you have to
right?
play one. So, I mean, obviously, if the colors don't match, you play a card. You just don't get to do it.
So you don't always get to choose your worker spots, or if you do, you might have to sacrifice a card because your good card doesn't line up with the good spot, and it's actually purposefully built that way. The green actions are the weakest actions with the best cards. The yellow actions are the strongest actions with the weakest cards, and red's in the middle. And so, the rest of it is like you're building a city and you're building connections and you're getting resources or what. I don't think any of that matters, right? Like the thing about this game is the deck of cards and the action spaces and having to make those decisions.
Sounds like that was really tough for you.
It was. I really had a tough time.
Really strained there. Okay.
What did you think? Because you didn't like this the first time we
Stop
played it.
hitting me.
Yeah, you guys had a hot take on Underwater
Yeah.
Cities.
You were outside of the
I was very disappointed the first time.
first time. Okay.
This time, I enjoyed the game, how it plays. I just hate the art. The
Yep.
art and the board game, the
Game board?
The board game?
the game board, I'm sorry, is so bad. It's just, I don't understand how someone could, give it a check mark, okay, let's do this, when you have such a good game, and it's so ugly. It just makes me really sad.
You know what really...
But I still think the game is worth playing.
Absolutely.
But I'm just it could be so much better. So that's my only disappointment.
I would say from a game design perspective, this game is absolutely worth seeking out and playing. It is very good.
And it is a lot at first. So I do think that you need to play it a good 5 times to be like, oh,
Whoa.
okay, I totally because at first it just looks like a lot, because each kind of city you build makes this, and like it's just a lot going on. It's not super complicated, but it's just a lot of little pieces and the little card and everything. But this last time we played, I feel like we both finally 100% understood everything and got it. It was
It was a lot of fun.
it was
Yeah.
it was good.
When we were running,
APR.
clicking on all cylinders, it was really great. You're absolutely right, though. Like this is a game. Think of like a game like a Wingspan or Terraforming Mars or Race for the Galaxy. You go through lots of cards, big decks of cards, and I always love when each card is like unique with unique art. I understand art's very expensive, but it's sort of like a very fun journey to dig through that deck, and everything you find is different. In Underwater Cities, you'll find cards in the same age that have like the same name and the same art, but they might be a different color and they'll give you a different ability, or maybe they're the same color but they have a different like the resource trade at the top is different. So there's like different cards but not unique art on every card.
But
and
even the art is very like, it's like, wah, wah. It's supposed to be you're making an underwater city, like this whole new world. And I think in the little game description, in the rules, it's like, build your own city and make this whole new... And instead it's like, it's just a bunch of white guys in suits half the time. Like, it's underwater cities. Like, it should be this like whole new...
Yeah, right. It's like, and it kind of looks like it maybe is the 70s, but maybe it's the future, but it's not, like, it doesn't really lean into it hard like BioShock, like the video game BioShock does, where it's like, oh, this is like the ambiance of this, like, theme is strong. It's like, it's not really anything. It's just weird.
No, it'll be, most of the time it looks like a bunch of lawyers having meetings, and then every now and then it's like, but this shark is also talking on a microphone, and you're like, what?
That's my, I like that. See, but I need more of that.
Well,
the shark on the with the headset on is like one
Lean
of the...
into it.
But
Where
you
is
can't
more
have
of
just
that?
one of those. You can't have just 2 of those in a
There
deck
is
of
like
100.
one of those,
There's one. The rest are a bunch of guys meeting, and it's like biometric talk, and that's... And you're like, but why would they be in suits underwater with briefcases? And then all of a sudden some girl has kooky hair in one, and that's about as crazy as it gets. It's a little like,
and
you
like,
gotta pick
even
a side.
the endpoint cards, like some of them share the same art, that like boat. You know, there's like that white boat. It's like, why are there so many of these? Couldn't they all be different so I could tell right away, like, oh, this one has to do with like if you have lots of steel, you get points, and this one has to do with if you have lots of the food, you get points or whatever. And it's like not obvious on the cards from the card art. The card art like oftentimes has very little to do with what the card ability is.
No, it's just like they've got like 20 pictures and just kind of shoved them on.
Right, like they had
they
somebody paint 50 paintings and then they threw those on cards where it kind of made sense, but it's like
pretty random, though.
This is what we have. We have to use it. I feel like that would affect gameplay to a certain degree, right? Because if I've got 3 cards that look the same and have the same name, but they all do 3 different things, that's
it can be
confusing.
It is that way. It is that way. And so, but I am not going to like get rid of this game. Like, it's so good that it sticks around.
It still plays really good. It just could be so much better. And once again, like your workers, your action pieces that you use, it's like elevator doors, I guess? Submarine doors? I don't know.
Why
it's just
is it
tile.
elevator doors?
It's just like a tile. Like, make it a little scuba guy. Make it a... I don't know. Just make it anything else.
A sub, anything.
Yes, make it a sub that you're going... Like, something. Instead, it's just kind of like... Wah, wah. But the fact that the game is still good shows how good it is. Mm-hmm. Which that's just why I'm so disappointed that it's not. If you had like Wingspan, Everdell art style, like something that's up to the art that much, but with a really great game, I feel like it could be fantastic. Yeah. But
how often will games essentially do a re-release
like they never
with
do
Noir.
hardly.
Never, right?
No.
Very rarely.
No, quite often actually,
Do
especially lately. Like reprints are
Oh.
kind of a big
Maybe more
thing,
with,
or
like,
second
Kickstarter.
editions and stuff. No, it's
Yeah.
a lot of like, people will have contracts with game designers for a certain amount of time, and the contract expires, and then they go make a deal with another publisher and
Yeah,
reprint
makes sense.
maybe
Guess,
under a
yeah.
new title or
I guess
whatever.
I can see that.
No, that
But-
happens a lot.
Well, this one needs to get on it, because...
There
So,
you go.
We also played Viticulture.
That's
Not
a
too much to
fave.
say there. We had a good time.
Good
It was a
one.
lot of fun. We tried Mind Management, the psychic espionage game, and I won't say too much about it. We only played it once. This game would need more than one play to talk about at any sort of length. I think what we determined, and Emily could speak on this more, is it's very it's hard to make a hidden movement game. Like Ken, we played Spectre Ops, remember?
Yes.
With you and Megan?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
like that game. It's hard to make a game like that fun when you don't have anybody to discuss with about trying to find the hidden person.
Yes.
Right? So
That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
this works at 2 players because you always have 4 rogue agents. Always. So you can have one person running all 4 trying to find the guy. You could have 4 people running one each trying to find the guy. So it works at 2. There's no changes to the rules. But you don't have any of that discussion. And so what you get is a very quiet game.
I was going to say, very intense.
Yeah.
Very head-to-head.
Right, and it's
Yeah.
quiet because the recruiter, who is the hidden person, is not going to talk like they're hidden. Why would they say about? And you don't have anybody to talk to about where they are. And so
Yeah.
I just don't think hidden movement games are very fun at 2 players.
That makes sense.
You definitely need at least 3. I think for this game you need more. Because if you are... What were you? The...
Rogue agents.
Okay. The agents each have, like, an ability and this and that. So there's so much. It's almost like you're doing flipping paperwork over there. Figuring out what special action they have. So that's already too much if it's just, like, one person or 2 people. The other person's hiding. But I feel like the person hiding definitely has an advantage, too. Like, it seemed like way easier to win for them.
And I have heard that from multiple sources, is
So
that
I feel like you almost need 3 against 1.
the way the game is set up is there's lots of closed up boxes inside of the game box, and then when the recruiter wins, then the rogue agents get to open the next box and it gives them a bonus, and then if
Okay.
they win, the recruiter gets to open a box and it gives them a bonus. And so eventually you have all these modules unlocked and you can play however you want,
That's cool.
but the idea is like it can kind of shift back and forth. But what I've heard is that based game, the one we played, it's really hard for the rogue agents to win.
Yeah,
The recruiter can win super
It
fast.
was super easy for me. Like, it wasn't hard in any possible way.
Like-
And you were sitting there having to be like, what does this okay, well, let's try. And
Yeah.
instead I was just like, I think I'm done now.
Well,
Like,
so I lost as the rogue agents, and what I unlocked, I'm not going to spoil anything here,
Yeah,
but
don't
it
say.
would make it either you would have limited movement or you would be telling me more information about where you are.
oh, okay. So it kind of
And
zones in.
So, yeah, it's like it was a big advantage. That first box would have been
Okay,
huge.
so
for
maybe
the
that
rogue
is you
agents.
just need to unlock a couple boxes. I still would say you need at least 3 people. It's not
It
fun
would,
at 2.
well, it would be more fun for sure.
It was not fun at 2.
No, because it's like you're just sitting there silently playing.
Not
What are you
being
gonna
more
do?
Right.
fun. Like, I
Right.
would never get it out at 2. Sorry.
Huh.
But it's one of those things that, if we're just playing a game, I'd never be like, ooh, should we try this? It's like, should we not talk for an hour? That would, like, you need at least 3 people to actually, like, enjoy the game.
Yeah, like if
Yeah.
we still had our 3-person game nights, Ken, this
Yeah.
all of a sudden this is a good one, right? This goes from we're never gonna touch it to like, ooh, like let's
Then-
try to
Yeah.
find the recruiter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and then it's kind of fun. It's like, oh, can we find her tonight? Like this is kind of a challenge.
Yeah, then it could be good.
Oh, it would go from like to great. So that's the thing. Don't play
Yeah.
this at 2. I don't recommend it at all.
No.
That's a bummer. But what can you do?
We very tangentially brushed up against Dice Throne Adventures. I went and sought out a copy of this. I got it from some guy on Board Game Geek because the eBay prices were insane. We only played. There's 2 types of missions. You switch between a portal crawl, which is like a dungeon crawl kind of, where you fight a bunch of guys and you go around trying to do stuff. And then there's a boss fight. And I think we'll play it a little bit more before
Did
we
we
talk about
fail
it too
it?
much. No, we won.
Did we? Okay.
We won, and so but we'll probably play at least one of the boss fights and maybe another portal crawl before we talk about it too much. But it's essentially a way to play Dice Throne cooperatively.
Yeah. It's just like, the same as Dice Throne, but you're just battling like little bad guys and stuff.
But there's like loot you can get, and there are cards that go in your deck, and some of them are
Yeah.
like super powerful. So it was kind of cool.
Cool.
For our actually for the date night boxes, we wanted to try Codenames Duet, and that was awesome. I've heard good things.
That was good.
I should get that.
I would say, like, if somebody's going to have Codenames, like, I would recommend this first, probably. Because you could always play regular Codenames with it, but it comes with the little tokens you need to play the 2-player version. And, I guess it doesn't have the right cards. It doesn't have the right...
No, it wouldn't have quite the right...
I guess you would need a copy of both.
You could just pick a side, though, and just do it. But
you could play this so much more often than regular Codenames. You got to get, like, a group together. You need at least 4 people.
Yeah, which is...
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was so much fun to be like, all right, we need to figure out what our words are together. And
it actually took us a while. I think we had to do it 3 or 4 times because we kept messing up.
Yeah, it's
That's
hard.
cool.
But it's fun because then you're like, are you serious? But it's just us as a team, so we have to be like, hey, let's just do it. Let's do it again.
Super
you can't
fun.
get... But that was really fun.
Highly recommend. We also had one of my friend's birthday parties, which that was an event too, because he was going to have a birthday party at his house, and then one of my other friends was already having a party at his house where he was
Everyone's
smoking
just always having parties.
roast, and he was like, I have a 10 pounds of smoked pork or whatever. We'll just make my party your birthday party. And so we all went over there. And
never would I be in a situation where I'm like, you guys, I have enough food and a giant house, and my house is clean, and we're all ready to go. Just come on over and just invite like 15 more people over.
Well, don't forget, we did do that this summer, except we didn't have the food and our house wasn't clean, and we weren't ready for anybody to come over.
So
we did it
like
anyway, and it was ton of fun.
It was like you
I was gonna say,
ripping off, like, oh man.
Never have I ever been invited to 2 parties with any, like, not without 3 or 4 months time between each one. So,
I've never been in the situation of being like, well, why don't they just come here? And I'm like, my house is already prepared. I don't know.
Oh gosh, my house is clean, and I have 10 pounds of smoked brisket going.
Come on over.
Instead, I feel like Ben would be like, oh, I invited some people over. And I'd be like, are you kidding me right now? Like, are you going to the store or are you cleaning?
No
Which
fun.
way we going to do this?
That's the same thing. For all you know, it's the same thing. Just
like he invited
maybe
and
that's
then
exactly what
panicked.
happened.
That's not what happened.
But we brought over So Clover.
That was fun.
And we forced everybody to play it. So we played it only comes with 6 clovers, so that's the maximum you can play with 1 copy of the game. I guess if you had another copy, you could potentially play with way
forever.
more.
Yeah.
But it was a big hit. We pulled it out, and Taylor, Phil's wife, was just watching the first round of the play, and then when it ended, she was like, "Can I get in on that?"
And it's also nice, even if you're not playing, you can help kind of solve the other ones.
Yes,
so
that's the best part about it. So
yeah.
even if you don't have to put the clues down, everybody can be like trying to figure out the people's
And she
boards.
did solve a few where she was like, I can totally see what you're doing
Well,
wrong.
and I was talking to Gage, and he said Alexis was like, hey, I want to get it on that. So, I mean,
Yeah.
you couldn't, like, a better selling point for a game is just people being like, I want to play this. Like, watching you play it and then be like, can I play?
It was fun.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a really good... That would be a good, like, cabin game. Like, when you guys went with the family.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
Because even if Grandma's not playing, she can lean over the table and be like, turn that card. I think I saw, and kind of everybody can join in.
Well, that's exactly what it is. A grandma will watch and be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Right? And turn the card, and it's like, dummy, here you go.
Exactly. And then,
Just
like, maybe
solved it
after
for
a
ya.
few, she's she wants to join in.
Right.
So.
Well, and I
Yeah.
was up and down and in and out, and somebody handed me a board. So
Did you do one?
I did a board. And then, but I wasn't really playing when you were
walked
guessing.
away then.
Well, I was like taking care of the kids, and I was doing a couple of other things. So I just somebody handed me a board with 4 cards on it. I wrote down some clues. I handed it back, and then was doing other stuff. So it's kind of cool in that way, and anybody can participate in the the game part of it.
Yeah. It was really fun though. But boy, sometimes it is so hard to think of something that connects the two words.
Oh, I really struggled with one of my boards. It was tough. Let's take a little break.
I need to play it.
You do need to play it. I think you would like it.
It's worth
Well,
it.
I don't want to stoke the fire too much. I mean, it sounds like we've got at least 2 games that need to be in the date night box
Right?
here with
Well-
Codenames Duet and So Clover. So, maybe I wait until the subscription is live.
We have
I
a
don't
whole
know.
box of Codenames Duet, so that's coming soon.
That's true.
We have a lot that got shipped. We have a little area where the kids used to play that's now full of boxes. So
Sweet. That's it.
All right, let's take a little break, and we'll come back, and we'll talk some more. All right, we're going to play a little game because I have played several games without you guys. We don't have a game to
Ouch.
highlight today. I'm going to tell you about some games I've played with the game group or maybe just myself, and you guys tell me if it sounds interesting to you at all.
I'm going to say no.
First up is a game called Hostage Negotiator. This is from Van Ryder Games. It is a solo game.
Nope. Sorry.
Solo only, where you are
That's a no.
a hostage negotiator trying to save hostages from, there's all kinds of different perpetrators in it. But it's very dice heavy. You roll dice to see if you get successes. They're D6s. On a 5 and a 6, it's a success for sure. And on a 4, it's a success if you spend cards. 1, 2, and 3 is a fail. And most cards are something really bad happens if you get failed. And something okay happens with 1 success. And something really good happens with 2.
I'm not going to lie. I hate the idea of a negotiation game based on dice.
Yeah.
That's so counterintuitive to me, but maybe I'm wrong.
A lot of it seems like you're just trying to you
Beat the
come up with a
odds?
plan and then you see if it succeeds. And it's
that doesn't make any sense. I don't like that. Also, is this attached to the Negotiator film, a la 1995, starring Samuel L. Jackson?
not officially.
No, not officially licensed.
It does have a career mode that I have not started because I wanted to play just the regular base game first, but I have the career expansion that I think I'll start sometime this week, maybe. And we'll see if that makes it any better. I don't know. The next on the list, so we have played Seven Wonders Duel, Emily, lots of times. Mm-hmm. I managed to play Seven Wonders, which is very similar.
Didn't we used to play Seven Wonders?
We've never played Seven Wonders, but it is like
sure?
Sushi Go, Ken, where it's a drafting game.
Are you sure?
Right?
I feel like I played
Didn't
it
we
with you
play?
guys.
I know that I had never played this game.
Then what did we play?
Civilization?
Well, if you go
maybe
way
that's
back,
what it is.
That's
I
probably
would
what
love
it
That's
to
what
was.
do
I'm
that
thinking
again.
of.
I want we're up till 1 a.m. hating each other
I think
game
we
of
played
Sid
that
Meier's
with Megan
Civilization.
one time. When we
No,
were... Yes.
she would never. She would put the
No,
kibosh
it was
on
when
that.
Ken would
She
come
would
up by
not.
himself.
No,
It was
but-
before he was even with Megan.
I remember one time
Yeah.
with Megan.
Really?
Yeah, it was. You were not. It was before.
Drive up from Detroit?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm going to find an old picture.
I do
We-
remember we tried it, and it just. I think we quit after 2.5 hours, and we had barely made it through the rules.
No. We played it for real. We played it for me and
Did
Ken
we?
were in a war the whole time, and Emily won
and
a
I
culture
snuck
victory.
Oh, you're right. You're
She
right.
won it was 1:30 in the morning. Emily won a culture victory.
I remember trying to do it with Megan one time.
That's
which I'm
right.
sure
No,
we were all so drunk. It was, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But
Anyway, we don't need to talk about Seven Wonders.
Okay.
It's pretty
Sorry.
great. I would recommend it if you had 7 people and wanted
do you
to play.
have to really have 7 people?
No, you don't have to have 7
Oh
people.
my god, I was
But
Okay.
it's like Sushi Go where you pass the cards around.
Okay.
Except
Really?
you draft from the hand to
Wow.
build the like production cards or the blue cards or whatever. It's just like Seven
seems
Wonders
fun.
Duel.
Sounds cool. Yeah.
We played another game called Nyctophobia. So Nyctophobia is like, I don't know, the fear of like not being able to see or something, or afraid of the dark or
Let's
something
look
like
it
that.
up
You
here.
didn't even look this up.
I didn't look it up. It doesn't matter. So
I
this
think it does, but
game,
Caps lock. Nyctophobia. Extreme or irrational fear of the night or of darkness.
yeah, there we go.
boy, so
Okay.
sleeping is a nightmare.
So
for
the
these people.
board is
Maybe
like
not. Maybe it goes away if you go to sleep, right?
That's true.
there is sort of a game master, and then there are the players. And the players put on these glasses that are 100% block light. So they don't let anything through. They're like
But they're like wraparound, right?
they're pretty big glasses. You can't see anything through them at all. So you can't see the board.
Okay.
And then on the board, the theme is you got lost in the woods. You're a bunch of teenagers lost in the woods, and there's some like classic movie trope killer after you.
Sure.
And you have to find the car before the killer takes you out. But you do that by feeling the board. So on your turn,
Oh.
you put your finger out, and the guy who's running the game puts your finger on your thing, and you can feel to the north, south, east, and west of your person.
The
And-
guy running the game puts your finger on your thing.
on your player pawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So he's
sure.
like, okay, you're here. You can't see the board at all. You can only feel.
Oh man,
so
sign me up.
You feel
Don't say any more.
and then you have to tell him like, I want to move to the north. Okay, then you can feel again, and you can be like, I'm gonna move to the east, and then you can sprint if you want, but that you don't get to feel.
Do you tell everyone else
What?
like in your party what you're doing? Because are you guys working together?
You're
You're
working
speaking
together.
out loud.
But if you
Okay.
hide, the killer can't affect you in any way, but you also can't talk at all until your
Oh.
next turn. So you
Well-
can't be like, oh, I think I'm in the northeast corner of the board and, whatever. Like, you can't say
you
anything.
Can't say anything.
So,
That's cool.
I do think this would be fun.
you're like hunting around. Like, somebody's trying to figure out where the car is, and then everybody else is like, you're trying to stay alive, right? So you're trying to find the car, trying to stay alive, and you like run into the killer, and then you like get attacked real quick.
Did you guys put on spooky music?
No, we should have. We totally
Oh,
should have.
come on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you just
you
play.
need to have something. Yeah. So you're
just
kind of
repeat.
panicking on your turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you
Like
guys like the sound
Yeah,
of this.
I'm in.
Yeah.
How many players?
I
What's
guess
the minimum?
I guess you could do 5. Would be the max. Minimum would
Okay.
be probably 3 with 2 player characters, and
I
then
guess
the
you have to
person
have
makes
one
running
sense,
it.
yeah.
person who's ready to like be boring and do nothing.
The fewer characters you have on the map, the harder it is because you have so
Right.
much more of the board you have to cover to find the
Yeah.
car.
Huh.
Okay, that one I'd be for.
Yeah, that one's
So
cool.
if one player reaches the car, do all
I think
non-killer players win?
I
you
think
honk
it's
the
at.
horn?
I think you need one more round. If you get to the car, then you need another round to like call for help or something like that, and then you win.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Is the person who doesn't have glasses on, are they the bad guy?
Yeah,
But they can see everything? How's that?
they draw cards to see what
And-
they can
okay.
do, but they're
Gotcha.
trying to beat you.
Cool.
Okay, that one I
Sign
would
me
do.
up.
Yeah.
I'm in.
We played an RPG called Everyone is John.
Okay.
So everybody takes on this. John has multiple personalities, and each player is a personality of John. And when we played, Seth was the GM. He handed us out blank note cards, nothing on them. On the card, we had to write what our objective for John was, and then 2 skills that we wanted to have that were probably related to the objective. So, for example, my objective was drive a car more than 150 miles an hour, and my skills were I was really good at carjacking and stunt driving.
You can make up whatever? This is
Whatever
like...
you want.
Whoa.
Ryan's objective was to get on and win Top Chef. I don't know what his... I don't remember what his skills were. Like, Phil's was, like, start a
I feel
small
like that's
business.
like Ryan's real objective.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
doing the chicken and waffles, the honey, and then he's...
Yeah.
he
And
needs
then
to.
Gage's was, like, to steal babies, I think, or something.
I hope that's
What
not
was
his
super
real
weird is, like,
objective.
Phil's was super bland. Start a small business. That was his
But
goal.
that's what I would have thought too at first. I wouldn't think that I could be like brush my teeth in under 10 seconds, like something
But
weird.
every
that-
time he would take over John, because what it is only one person's in control of John at a time. And that's my only negative about this game.
you like
is-
sit forever.
Is everyone else is just waiting while the GM and who's ever in control of John are
Yeah.
role playing. And
Yeah.
then it switches whenever you pass a skill check. So let's say I had to carjack. If I either passed or failed the skill check, there's a chance for people they can auction off Will to try to take over John. There's also, if you're ever like boring for, like, let's say you like sit on a bench or do something that's not exciting, John will fall asleep, and it's another chance for another player to take
This
over.
is just like a...
So it does switch quite often. And
Weird
anytime you're like
D&D.
very successful at something, it will have a chance to switch. You either have to rebuy control with Will, or somebody else can take over. And
What's the average time that a player is controlling John?
I would say like 10 minutes, maybe.
Oof.
It's probably
Oof,
That's
no.
way too
No.
long.
5 to 10 minutes.
So
like
if
we
you
played
are
this.
waiting for 5 people, you're waiting almost like an hour for your turn?
I guess you could potentially have waited like maybe I think like a half an hour, I guess.
That's
No
still a
way.
no.
That's
no.
way too long. Like, cap, 2 minutes.
Right.
Seriously, if you want to have a
I
fun
agree.
game.
I just enjoyed the gap of the like an hour to maybe 30 minutes to I'll do 2.
No, 2 minutes a person. So if you've got 5 players, that means in 10 minutes, everybody's had a chance.
Yeah,
to-
right. I agree with that.
Yeah, it was. I guess you could play it that way. It's really up to the GM. Like, the
What'd you
GM
guys
is in
do?
control.
You just sat there forever?
Yeah, we chit chatted. We listened a little bit, but you couldn't listen to. You could listen, but you know when you woke up in control, you didn't remember what the other personality did. So you had to sort of pretend that you weren't listening.
That's hard too,
no,
though,
that's
right?
also
Because
like, why would I? Yeah.
you just watch somebody play for 40 minutes and then you have to forget about it?
Yeah.
Well, and so like Gage would always be trying to steal babies, and then Phil would always wake up with a baby in his hands. And since his job was starting a small business, he would always be trying to sell babies.
Oh my gosh. what
It was
is
very
happening?
strange.
I'm going to
I mean,
pass on this game.
I like what it's trying to do. I mean,
It's
Doesn't sound
very.
like
It is very simple. And what Seth
Huh.
was saying, he was like, I want to try this out because I want an RPG you could play if you're like hiking or on a camping trip, and you need like 1d6 to do the checks.
I
I
understand
get it.
that.
Yeah, I get it.
But
You're essentially just storytelling with each other because
Yeah.
there's no rules for the
Yeah.
objectives. There's no rules for anything really. Like, it's just if he's like, hey, this is a skill check, you got to roll a d6. That's it. Like, the GM is sort of like telling you, no, this is a skill check, roll a dice.
But that's a totally different circumstance if you're like, hey, we're all sitting around a campfire doing nothing, and it's like, hey, Ben, it's your turn. Now you, like, that's totally different than I came to game night, I'm sitting at a table, and now I have to wait
That's
40
true.
minutes for my turn.
So that's a no from you guys.
That's a no, unless I'm around a campfire.
I think maybe there's a better version of this game.
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons.
That's,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And the last game I want to mention, we played this week. We played Forgotten Waters. And this is a game where everybody sort of like takes on the role of a pirate. It has a companion app, and then it has sort of a spiral-bound storybook where it'll be some sort of like picture on the left and a bunch of like things you can interact with that place on the right. So it might be like a town or a deserted island or a battle with a pirate ship or you're in a storm. And the things are like man the sails, get salvage out of the water, talk to the crew, feed the crew, whatever, like navigate the ship. And so there's also like a separate board that's a map, and the one we played was like we had to get from this port city to this island on the map, and we would find some information there, and then maybe you have to go to another island or whatever. And so you're like moving along the map and triggering events, and it'll be like, go to this storybook page, and then it's timed, and you'll be like, who's going to do which action? So everybody like, quick, like, I'll do this action, and I'll do this. It's based on like these symbols that are there. And then you say, okay, and the timer stops, we picked, and it'll be like, all right, here you have to do a skill check, roll a d12. And then you have this like storybook, this like 2-page paper storybook thing that's kind of like a Mad Libs. It'll be like, fill out your name of somebody to your left and a weapon and a big creature and whatever, and then it like that you do that, and then it like tells your story of your pirate. And so then you I don't know, you're trying to like manage supplies and crew and all this stuff of the ship. And it'll be like, okay, I go into this cave, and then it says, okay, do event number 211.
Whatever.
So you type 211 into the app, and it like reads it to you. And the voice acting in the app was like really good. And it would be like, you walk into an old lady's house and immediately shoot her, and she drops dead.
Oh my gosh.
And then a couple
Been
of
there
guys are
before.
like, oh man, did we just shoot an old lady? But later you find some bones that clearly had like teeth marks on them, but they're human bones, so you're much more comfortable that you killed a cannibal. And like that's the ending you get if you rolled really high, and if you roll bad,
okay.
like you get a completely different
saying.
story event. It might be like you walk in and she tries to cook you, and like you lose 2 crew or something like that.
This is still very dice heavy. I'm not a fan of this like roll to see what happens. Other than
I don't.
dice thrown is like all in dice. It is just dice. Other than that, like I usually hate dice.
Well, like I would go a lot of times. I would do the hunting actions because I had a +9, I think, by the end to my D12 roll. So like whatever I rolled on the D12, I could add 9 to it, and then that would be my score for that, right? So I was super good at hunting actions.
Like that's, I don't know. It's just it's still role play, which is fine. I just don't want to do that.
Yeah, this
ever.
was less of us role playing and more of like a storybook adventure.
Yeah, which once again, I'm always like, well, then why am I here? I feel like but if anyone can just be like rolling and kind of going along with the story, then I just want to be like, I have other things to do.
Well, I didn't feel like that at all, though. I felt like I was, it's like watching a movie or something. Like it was kind of like fun to sort of like experience the story, except you were making decisions on how the story played out. It was like a choose your own adventure book or something, but all 5 of us were playing together.
Choose your own adventure, like unlock. Yeah, we didn't finish it. See how you don't remember it? Because we were like, that's really boring. That's how I feel about those games. Sorry,
Got
not
him.
for me.
All right,
Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you remember it?
I mean, I'm undecided on this one. Sounds interesting. I don't know.
I just want more of a like game you play, here's the finish, rather than like, whoa, what happened on your adventure? I want to be like, I really don't care. Well, if I really want a good adventure, I could read a really good book that someone made for me.
And we did have a little bit of a discussion at the end that was like, it started to go down the path of like strategically what different decisions could we have made, and then a couple of us were like, I don't think it matters, right? I think it's more like you get to see is what happens. It's just like a story unfolds based on what you decide to do.
Yeah, that.
And you sort of play along.
Don't care. But that's also why I'm not buying to D&D, because I don't give a crap. So.
Yeah,
all right.
That's fair. Yeah.
What about you, Ken? Are you interested in Forgotten Waters?
It's hard to tell, to be honest. I don't know. It would be I'll give it a try. I liked the sound of Seven Wonders and Nyctophobia. This sounds a little better than Hostage Negotiator, but I'm not sure.
I don't think either of you would like Hostage Negotiator.
No, I don't want to play solo or like roll dice for my
I feel
decisions.
like Hostage Negotiator, that has to be nothing but pure RPG. The fact that dice are in that bothers me a lot.
Right, you sort of like, you're like, I'm gonna try to do this, and oh man, it didn't work. Oh shoot, well, what am I gonna do now?
I don't know though, but I don't know how you fix that game. I don't know how you make that better. Right. I don't know.
All right. Well, let's move on from some board games. Let's talk about some other stuff. Maybe some stuff we've been watching.
I like that you do little intros every time.
I'm glad you like that.
He's good at it. He's good at it.
You make it new every time.
What have you got? I haven't been watching anything.
I didn't really write anything down because it wasn't anything that I was like, ooh.
Right, not appropriate for broadcast.
I mean, let's be serious. I actually did watch a movie on Amazon that was like that, where you're like, okay, it's just straight up like you're watching porn.
What the heck? Where was I?
Yeah, what was this?
I don't know, playing video games. It was a movie on Amazon. I think it's called like the Voyeurs or the Void.
Excellent.
It's a new one.
The Voyeurs, right? That's
right?
Let me get this down. The Voyeurs.
I just saw
Voyeur.
When I went on Amazon, it was like a brand new movie. Amazon one. I was like, yeah, sure, let's try it. And I feel like 75% of that is just like watching other people do it.
Whoa.
In which case I was like...
Isn't a voyeur like a... What is a voyeur?
I feel like you knew what you were getting into with a title called The Voyeurs.
I didn't at first. I didn't think it was going to be this. It's... The main thing that you see in the preview is they like can see their neighbors across the street, whatever, like the apartment across from them. But I didn't know it was going to be like, look, they're just like doing crazy shit again. Like,
okay, so they're just watching. This is just let's watch other people do it.
Then that's pretty much how it is. And then I was like,
cool.
What is happening? And then I also thought it was going to be a series, but instead it was just a movie.
Oh,
so,
that's weird.
So then I was like, oh, this is just like an hour-and-a-half movie.
It seems like a series
so
premise.
It really, that's what I thought. So then it really switches, and I mean, it is like kind of interesting, but it's just kind of weird, but there's a lot, so.
There is
a lot of nakedness.
There's a podcast called Love and Radio, and it is people telling their own stories, and one of them is of a person who, much like you said, lived in an apartment where across the way they could see another apartment of people doing things. And that story goes places. I'll have to look up the title of it because eventually they like can tell that one of them gets sick, and then all of a sudden, like the guy's not there anymore, and it's just the girl by herself.
Well, I feel like.
What?
Did I listen or you tell me? All of a sudden they were like, I think one of them had cancer or something, right?
Yeah.
Did I listen to this?
It's a cool story. It's real, too. It's not made up.
I remember this because all of a sudden they're like, it's really sad because now I just see her by herself, like crying.
And then she like said how she would see her down on the street and she was like, felt like she should say something.
But she can't say that, hey, I've been watching you. I noticed like
I've been
your
watching through your
died.
window.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, okay. I totally misunderstood that. So she's watching this couple.
She's watching, and it's as if she's playing it out in her head, like whatever. But then all of a sudden you can tell, like, he gets sick, something happens, he goes away. I'm assuming he died.
He doesn't come back.
She's sad and all this stuff. And yet when she sees her, like, in person, it's like, hey, I know your story, but I shouldn't know your story.
Right.
And I don't actually know it, but... And it's like
I feel
weird.
like I do. Yeah. Oh, man.
I must have
crazy.
listened to that like one because that's so familiar to me. So
it was highlighted on another podcast.
Maybe that's where.
And
I don't know.
Maybe it was on Radiolab or something like that. That episode of Love and Radio. But Love and Radio is good in general. Ken, you've watched 9 Perfect Strangers?
Yeah. Tell me about this because I've thought about watching this several times and I haven't, so.
Okay.
Should I?
I think up front, I think the benefit is it is a complete story in 9 episodes.
Okay. I like that.
There isn't really a cliffhanger, although I suppose if they felt like they wanted to,
they could
there could be a season 2. It's 9 hours. It's on Hulu, I think, only.
Yeah, I think it is.
It's Nicole Kidman.
It's a bunch of people.
It's a really stellar cast.
It's like if you took every, like...
And I think that's my biggest praise for it is my wife recommended it to me because it's pitched as sort of like a drama thriller, although I don't think that's really what it is.
Megan just said that.
To be honest. Well, no, because it has all the trappings of like a whodunit, except it never really happens.
Okay.
It's sort of pitched as like, well, somebody's going to die. Multiple, like, this is like a
That's what it
horror
looks
movie. We're definitely going to bad places. And they do go to bad places, but they don't. And the ending doesn't, what did I write here? Doesn't go where you'd think, doesn't end how you'd expect it to end.
All
The
right.
cast is excellent. Nicole Kidman is like this guru who selects 9 people to come to her health holistic thing and like, hey, we're going to sort through your problems, whether it's loss or substance abuse or, I mean, like each person has a different issue. I feel like if I knew psychology and emotion better, it's almost like a case study on like, well, this person has this and this person has this and this person has this. Sort of like they've got the 9 classic
Yeah,
issues
probably
of
is, right? Something
mental
like
health.
that.
I feel like it's right out of a textbook,
Yeah.
but it's good. I just watch
Okay.
it.
I'll have to watch
awesome.
that.
Cool.
I thought
She-
about
she-
it, but I just haven't.
Yeah. The only bad thing is that Nicole Kidman is doing a Russian accent, and I don't know what a Russian accent is, but that ain't it. I don't know.
Well, she's Australian, right? Originally?
Yeah, she is.
But then I feel like
But,
she
like-
kind of has a British accent mixed in there.
Well,
like,
she did a bunch of period stuff.
just
and
because
then,
she's like acted so much. So then when you're like trying to round the horn it over to
Yeah.
Russia, I
Yeah.
don't know if
she's not even, the main character is actually probably Melissa McCarthy.
that's perfect though.
Okay.
And
I'll take that.
She kills it. She's like really, really good. Like,
We should watch that.
So we
yeah.
got to watch this 9 Perfect Strangers. All right.
as a whole,
Yeah.
it's okay. I think the characters are fantastic.
All right.
Though.
Okay.
It's very cool.
There's been many times I'm like, I don't have anything to watch, and that pops
Watch
up
that.
first, and I'm like,
Watch it.
should I start this? But I just haven't, so we'll have to try it.
Well, speaking of drama thrillers, there is
Oh,
something we did all
You
watch.
and the connection.
Now, a little bit. Some of the times we're hunting out for the D list, trying to find a good fit, and when we, like Ken suggested, hey, there's this thriller, drama, horror movie or whatever that none of us
I don't
had
know.
seen.
I don't
Like-
know what you call this.
Let's check it
I
out.
think it is called horror
It was like
thriller.
perfect. This will be great. We could talk about it, and we all watched the 2019,
It's
2020.
2019.
Something like that,
Yeah.
yeah.
We watched the movie called The Lighthouse with Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson.
RP.
The Green Goblin and our Battinson.
Our
'Cause he's gonna be
Pattinson, the
Batman
Green
soon.
Goblin. Are they really
Robot.
that different in height? This is what I want to know. Because the movie, they look like...
Let me look right
I
now.
think
Let
that's
me
just
find
that
this
one
out.
scene. Because
Nope,
there's a
we're gonna
counter
find.
scene where
That's
Willem
true.
Dafoe looks taller.
Okay,
So it's
RP
very
is
much-
6'1",
He's not that tall. Yeah.
and
No, I mean, he's not that much taller than Dafoe.
Will is 5'9".
Yeah. So not.
Not quite, but that is still a big. I don't know. I feel like you
It's like
notice in
5
guys
inches.
that's quite a bit of
I
a
think
difference.
Emily made a good point to me earlier. She said, don't spoil this movie for anybody who
Yes.
wants to watch
Yeah,
it.
Ben
Yes.
kept being like, "Well, we got to talk about it." I'm like,
No,
we
no, no,
don't
no.
need too much because I don't want to spoil it for anyone."
I did want to say, if you have seen trailers for this, if you've heard anything, and you are even, if you're interested in the most minute amount, watch this movie. Because bottom line, I think this movie's fantastic.
Well, yes, I agree. This reminded me of any sort of like art class, film class I
Yes.
had, where then the teacher would pause it and be like, "So did you guys just see that scene?" what do you think about that scene? It
Right.
was the whole time Ben was like watching. I was like, this is classic film school. Like,
But
This
don't-
movie,
but don't do
went
that.
over my head. Like
Well,
no, but
I wanted.
But I'm just saying it was really good. For days after, you're thinking about it and going, man,
Yes.
remember that one scene or
Yes.
this or that. It's really good, but it has the art element of like It depends on your style that you like. You might not get it at first. You might not understand it. It might be weird at first because you're not used to it. But it's super interesting and it's
I think
interesting to watch.
it is weird. It's very art housey, but at its
Yeah.
base thing, it has a plot that you can completely follow and understand.
Yeah, even
It's
if you don't
not
go into
like-
the itty bitties of everything. Yeah.
Right. We don't have to examine what the lighthouse itself means.
you don't want
it
to talk
is-
Oh.
about how
It's a penis.
Is it though? Is it?
It is.
I don't think it is.
This is what I mean, though. You could go on and on at film school.
All right,
when it
let's get
comes
started
to-
in it.
That's not. No.
Did you guys notice how
Did
the
you see the way the
relationship
lighting-
between the two
no.
of them followed exactly the state of the disarray of the house, and when the
up!
relationship finally broke is when the wave crashed through the window, and after
Don't
that,
spoil it. Don't spoil
outta
it because
here.
I think if you have any, go watch a trailer for The Lighthouse. If you have any interest, watch it because I think it is a good art house film, and I think it is a good film without being an art house film.
and I'm not just saying this because it was nominated for an Academy Award, which it was for cinematography.
Was it?
Oh,
But the
cinematography.
cinematography of this is like mind-blowing. It looks so
Yeah.
much like an old movie. It has
Yes.
this weirdest aspect ratio ever. That's almost
It's
a
square.
square.
It's
And-
square.
Yeah.
And it has like those close-up facial shots of people
Yeah.
that they
They
used to
used to
do in the
do.
old movies. It's black and white with it's like some sort of super soft
It's-
filter.
It's like
Yeah.
underlit
It's
though.
underlit,
so
also.
it's
It's like,
and it's like
underlit.
just their face.
And it's
and
their
it
face.
just
what do you
for
mean
way
you don't
too
like
long.
me lobster? You know you like my lobster.
Exactly. But it's always like 2 minutes longer than you think the scene should be.
Yes.
And that's what also makes it where you're like, this is getting uncomfortable, which I'm sure you're supposed to feel uncomfortable.
That's
Oh,
the
you
point.
are
know what I
supposed
mean.
to feel that.
But-
Let me just say this: this
but I
movie
just
is
mean-
insane. Like it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Let me put that. If like, check it out. But it is.
it's
It's
off
out
the
in left
rails.
field. Like this is really out of control.
You're gonna see stuff you don't want to see. You're gonna feel things you don't want to feel. You're gonna experience stuff that just like, whoa, dog! I gotta pause to like breathe.
more
I forgot
than
to breathe.
any- right? Like a horror movie or whatever could be scary in the moment.
No,
but
it's not like that.
No,
This
it's not.
movie-
In no way is it
No,
like a horror
it's not
movie.
like that.
So,
but when I
yeah.
went to bed that night, I was every time I closed my eyes, all I saw was like scenes from this movie.
Okay.
Like I couldn't get this out of my head, and it was like the next day it was the same way.
It
Every
is
time I
that
let
movie
my
that you
mind
think
drift.
about. That show's a good movie though.
I was-
When you keep thinking about it and you're like, wow, that
It
one
was-
scene was. But in
There
no
was a
way,
hangover for
Yeah.
days. I was like, man, it was. I wasn't even thinking about it. It was just in my brain.
No, it's just like it's
just
playing.
replaying.
Yeah.
It's like our Pat's walking that coal in the wheelbarrow, and the goddamn wheelbarrow falls over, and he's just. You can see them going mad.
They were both
Right.
great actors in it, but it just
It's
100%.
fantastic. I think it's fantastic.
It was just I was just back
Right.
at school doing an assignment. and
I do
just-
agree with
Right.
Ken. Like,
Yeah.
don't go down the path of like, are they the same person, and is this just happening in his head, and like all this
well,
stupid
you can
stuff.
read
Just
all that after.
Take it
You
for
can
face
read all that
value.
after.
Just go watch it. I think it holds up as a.
Every person will
As
have their
it's-
own theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't take the art school approach, I think it still holds up, which is two guys in a
Yes.
lighthouse who are they stay there longer than they're supposed to. Shit gets weird, right?
It does have that, even if
Yeah.
you don't do, like you said, the art school approach.
I was
If you
like,
don't-
so true. It still has a beginning and the climate, like it still has the whole
Yeah.
works, the ending, the whole everything.
Yeah.
So
but when it finally ended, I was like so happy to be like, I can get out of, like, let me out of this. But it was,
Isn't that like that's the point though?
Right.
Right?
well,
yes.
exactly, because That's how he felt.
Not
okay,
not
we
in
can't
like
go too
a
far into this.
well, but
We're
not
getting-
in like a thank goodness this is so bad and it's over. It's like
No.
I don't want to be here anymore. Please, I want to get out of here.
That's the entire
how
purpose
our
of the
Pats
movie.
felt.
That's the purpose of the movie is like, and it's not uncomfortable. It's not like you're not like clutching your pearls,
No,
right?
not at
Because
all,
this is
dude.
so.
It's
I don't.
like when they started
it's-
drinking the kerosene with a
Wait,
little bit of honey in it.
Stop. Like, what is wrong with you right now?
We need to move on. I think generally
Ben, like,
we
can't stop naming scenes.
We thought this
if
might
you're
be
at
a
all
D-list movie.
interested, go check it out.
It's not.
It's not a D list. It's
It's an art
something
school
else.
list.
It's its own.
It
thing.
is an experience.
I,
all right.
I would recommend watching it, but wow.
Yeah, be ready for.
I think it is
something.
classified as a horror movie, which I kept waiting for shit
no.
to get crazier, and then I was like,
No.
oh, they just mean like weird.
One
You're gonna
scene.
feel
like
horrible.
yeah.
Maybe one.
No. But I mean it's not in any way a horror movie, so I thought like shit was gonna get way kooky, but no.
All right. We do have another movie to talk about tonight.
Yes.
Can lighten our spirits a little bit before we get there.
Your spirit.
I'll
You
move
have been
quick.
playing a video game.
I'll move quick because our D list always runs long.
Always.
It's gonna be a good 4 hours.
I've been playing. I've been playing Kenna, Kenna, Quinoa, Bridge of Spirits,
Okay.
which I think if you're on PC is Epic Games only, and I think it's on Sony or PlayStation and Xbox. But basic premise is Quinoa, a young spirit guide, travels to an abandoned village in search of sacred mountain shrine. She struggles to uncover the secrets of this forgotten community, hidden in an overgrown forest where wandering spirits are trapped. It is an adventure game. It's quite short. It is
Oh.
miraculously beautiful if you like forest landscapes.
Oh,
Ooh,
really?
I need to look this up now.
It's very Pixar / Disney art style. It has cool boss fights, pretty decent combat, some platforming, some puzzle solving. I just think it's really good. It's just a
Ooh.
breath of fresh air.
It looks really pretty.
This is on Epic, you said?
Yeah, I think it's like $40 or $50, so it's a little bit. It's under the usual 60.
It's cool looking.
I just think it's cool. That's it. That's all I got. Check it
All right,
out.
I'll check it out. You sold me on it.
I'll check
Yeah.
it out, man.
And then we have Gloomhaven
Yes.
launching on PC on the 20th.
On the 20th.
sorry.
All right. 1.0. Because we've had the
Early access
early
for
access
like
for a while.
year and a half.
Yeah.
And it didn't have multiplayer, it didn't have any storyline. In theory, Gloomhaven will become an online playable game on the 20th of October, which you and I played it, and the combat mechanism is rock solid. It's great.
Yeah,
Moves
I mean,
fast.
it's the board game, right?
You play the cards, no big deal. That's it. Looking forward to playing a Gloomhaven campaign, either by myself or with you, because you can play solo with up to 3 characters, I think. Maybe 4? Whatever the standard game rules are.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the campaign because I think that that's where it'll shine.
Yeah.
Because, like a board game has to have a certain level of simplicity, we'll say, to be able to be played on the tabletop and move quick. You put that in the digital, and now all of a sudden it's up against Darkest Dungeon, for example. Very similar game.
Yep.
It doesn't have as many like numbers running in the background, and it almost feels like for a video game, it's like a little bit like
It's light.
it's
Feels light.
Yeah, it's very simple for a video game. So, but I think it could be fun to play if I wanted to play Gloomhaven, to be able to just play the digital campaign, like with you especially.
That'd be cool, man.
That'd be almost
2
be better
players
than the
each.
tabletop. Yeah, that sounds fun.
Because the time to resolve the enemies, snap, 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 right? I mean, it's over.
Right.
You
I
just
love
see
how
the
fast
animations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about 2-hour missions in 45 minutes.
Right.
So, that, especially in our unique position, which is like, well, we could never ever play this in like a tabletop simulator. It would take twice as long.
I don't
It would take
want to.
4 hours
I don't want
to drag and drop stuff.
Right.
So, looking forward to it.
This is where it's at. All right. Well, we'll see you
That's
guys
true.
next time.
Have a good one.
See ya.